Howdy folks, welcome to Happy Trails Hiking. In this episode of Thirsty Thursday, we are at the Narrow Gauge Brewing Company in Florissant, Missouri. Let's go check it out.
This is the final score. Please stay tuned till the end to find out how we got to this.
So we just put in the order for our flight. There are 4 beers in a flight, and we have ordered the double dry hopped IPA called Fallen Flag. We got their standard pale ale, which they call Sparkle Motion Pale Ale. We also got the porter, which they call the Old Town Porter, and the 4th one that we got was the Narrow Gauge Wit AF. Don't know what AF is for, but it's a wit beer. So we got the flight on the way. We'll give it a go here in a second. Alright, so first up is the wit beer. We're going to start with the wit beer because we think it'll be the least confrontational to the palate. So here we go.
Does it taste weedy
it's
or
kinda,
smell weedy?
It's very pleasant. It's kind of like a, I don't know, maybe a citrusy smell.
Yeah, smells hoppy, like flowers.
Okay, that's very nice. It's very pleasant.
Oh yeah, just a clean taste. Yeah, not malty, not hoppy, just a clean taste.
Yeah, it's pretty lightweight wheat beer, so that's a good one. All right, so let's see here. Next up, we should probably do the pale ale. So we'll grab that one. So this is the Sparkle Motion Pale Ale, which I'm noticing that it's cloudy. So it's probably intentionally cloudy. That seems to be one of the going styles these days. Oh, there's a lot more bitterness in that than I was expecting.
Oh yeah, it smells bitter. Like it smells hoppier.
And that must be because it's a double dry hopped.
Oh yeah, it's very IPA-esque.
Yeah, it's not quite as bitter as a full-on IPA, but it's definitely more bitterness than a typical
yeah,
pale ale.
It does not make me want to make that face, but yeah, it's definitely not my style. But
okay, yeah. So and there's definitely a lot of let me smell it again here. You get a lot more hop aroma, some of the fruity, flowery kind of smells on that. All right, so now we're going to go to the Fallen Flag.
it's the actual IPA.
And it really doesn't smell that much different. To me, it smells about the same. Because it is double dry hopped, you still got a very pronounced flowery, hoppy smell. It might be a little bit more bitter, but it's really very, very similar to the pale ale.
Oh.
You disagree?
It's harsher.
Okay, all right, well there you go. So the IPA does have more bitterness.
It does have more bitterness. It really hits you in the back of the palate, and yeah. Sorry.
Okay, I think I've become detuned to the bitterness a little bit.
You're allowed to have that one.
So the 4th one that we have here is the Old Town Porter.
Porter.
So this will be a definite change from the double dry hopped, I would assume.
it smells
Oh
sweet.
yeah, you get the kind of the coffee roasty smell that one would expect in a porter.
Yeah,
Go ahead and have a
roasted.
sip of that.
It's a different temperature even.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
porter can be served a little bit warmer.
It's creamier and yeah, definitely roasty tasting.
Oh yeah, that's a really good porter, and you're right, it is warmer.
It's just not the same temperature as the other 3 beers that we tried.
So, in comparison to what I was expecting, the porter seemed to be pretty traditional. It's really nice. It's not very sweet. It is on the dry side, but you get a lot of that roastiness that I would expect. The wit beer, let's see, let's go back to that.
Do they have
Do what?
Do we have to? I like the porter.
Okay, you can have the porter. Kay always gets the porter whenever we're done with the tasting. The wit beer has a little bit more bitterness and hop-forward presence than I would tend to expect. A lot of times, those would be a little bit more on the mild side.
I would say that all 4 of the beers that we had were more hoppy or bitter than some others. Like, there just is a hop presence to them all. Instead of that malty or weedy, like you'd expect the wheat beer to be a weedy. And
yeah, a lot of people will go for a wheat beer because it will be less bitter, but you won't get that here.
Yeah.
The wheat beer here is definitely hop intense.
Yeah, I would say.
And the pale ale and the IPA with the double dry hopping, it's very pronounced hop aromas and flavors overall, and pretty stout bitterness too.
Yep. So we're just now leaving Narrow Gauge Brewing Company, and we have several thoughts. The first thought is on the environment, and it was very noisy. There was a Little League baseball team in there when we got there, so interesting for a bar. I mean, it was a pub.
And kids crawling around on the floor. I almost stepped on a small child on the way to the bathroom. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it was different and very noisy thoughts, Matt.
Alright, so we've covered the environment. It was a bar, it was noisy. The next thing we should talk about is service. Service was very good. We had 2 servers. We kind of sat in the back corner of the room. And the 2 servers, they weren't worried about like whose table it was. Everybody was taking care of us. So that was good. So kudos to Narrow Gauge for the service. What's the next thing we should talk about? The food. They had a menu.
Any.
They had a menu, but we did not order food. So
I was full.
We were full. We just got back from a party, so we didn't have any food. But I'm told that the meatballs at Narrow Gauge are world famous. So finally, we should talk about the subject of this video, which is beer. And all of the beers that we had, so we had the IPA, we had a pale ale, we had a porter, and we had a wheat beer. All of them were very hop intense and hop forward. The wheat beer was more bitter than I would expect, more hop aroma. Even the porter, which you normally don't think of as being very hoppy, it was pretty hoppy as well. The pale ale and the IPA were both double dry hopped and had very intense hop flavor and aroma. Both of them reminded me of grapefruit quite a bit, although I'm sure there's no grapefruit actually involved in the brewing process. So I would hypothesize that the brewmaster is a hop head, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but for my taste I prefer them to be kept in balance, and these were a little bit out of balance, and the hops definitely had the upper hand. So for those of you who are hop heads out there, Narrow Gauge might be something you really want to look at, but for me it was just a little bit too much of a good thing.
Okay. Stay tuned for our final scoring and evaluation.